And he told me, he said, I had to have you experience it first so you would know the importance of this message. And man, I tell you what, it was like getting stabbed in the heart because I knew I picked up offense, but that's always been the devil's tactic. But what do we know? When we know the tactic, right? We can be prepared. So when it shows its ugly head, we just cover it with love because it's not about being right. This is not the time to fight to be right. We have to fight to be pure, to be loving. And however long it takes, we can do it. We can do it because we're his. He's our daddy. And we want him to release that blessing for our life.
Can I ask you a question, Dave?
Yeah.
What's the correlation between having a pure heart and going into a new quantum financial system?
Well,
but before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is, without question, the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, T-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There will be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Unified TV will take over Netflix. We're bringing in the next genre of movie producers and storytellers and actors and actresses. And we're telling the story of how the world is going to be on earth as it is in heaven. GESARA NESARA is coming. Don't make no mistake about it. Gold and silver, right down below. Promo code Mel Carmine. Make sure you use the promo code. Almost $8 billion in sales. We're direct to like a bunch of mints. We are the ones that can get you the gold and silver directly to your door, okay, at the cheapest price. Don't even waste your time looking for a cheaper price. It doesn't exist. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. Our Patriots are literally waiting for you in the room. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want.
Can I ask you a question, Dave?
yeah.
What's the correlation between having a pure heart and going into a new quantum financial system?
Well, no evil goes into the new quantum financial system.
Okay.
In essence, we don't bring a bad apple to be in the bunch because it would spoil the bunch. And we don't give evil money in the new system.
I see.
To pay for their evil doings.
Yeah, we're not going to have MS-13 go through the redemption centers, are we?
No. And
not qualified?
Probably not. Now, I'm sure there's people that have turned. They've gotten out of the gang. They stopped doing what they were doing. And they have been repenting and praying like there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
You said something on Kia's show about a few days ago when you guys went live, and I just watched the rerun yesterday. I sent a copy to my mother, and she was blown away. And you said the same thing I said, and I said it in different words, same thing. I said the reason why Donald Trump is on a golf course as cool as a cucumber is because he knows when this happens and they announce the GESARA NESARA, whether it's going to be called that or something else, it's irrelevant. And they're going to announce the universal basic income, whether it's going to be $5,000 a month or $15,000 a month or $10,000 a month or $6,000. Nobody knows, including myself. Okay. When that happens, everybody has to vacate every country. If you are occupying it illegally, you got to go back to your country of origin.
Where you're born.
Yes. In order to collect your universal basic income. But that doesn't mean, and this is another thing I want to clear up, and I think you'll agree with me, there's going to be so many of us that are going to have multiple humanitarian projects that these people are we're probably going to be paying into that system of $6,000 a month or $15,000 a month or whatever it is, which is going to be like a little drop in a bucket for many of us. And these people are going to have to come punch a clock because they went to some website and they picked a humanitarian project that tickled their fancy. And they said, I want to go do Kia Pruitt's homeless program. I'm into that. I'm going to go do Dave's, restore the coral reef program. Or I'm going to go do Mel Carmine's, take care of the stray dogs in Costa Rica program. And you're going to have to punch a clock. So this is not utopia. It is not. You have to do something for it. Okay. You might not work a 40-hour week, and you might only work a 20-hour week, and you might get paid a lot more than what you're getting paid right now. And your money's going to go a much longer way. But in reality is you're going to do something that you're going to actually enjoy, which means it's like you're really not doing much, because if you, like Confucius said, if you really enjoy what you're doing, it's really not work. And it's true.
That's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes.
From that broadcast, because it was really super important. And, I remember when that question came up, it was like, well, why do they have to go back? Why can't they just get it here? Well, because they want that money to be in that country to support those projects and support the people in the community.
Bingo.
Because, if it's like, where do you want to go, Dave? Where do you want to be? Where you're going to be with people you want to be with? I mean, that's what it's like. You're going to want to be with the people you love, the people you know, not a whole bunch of strangers. But I mean, it's a totally different game now, because everybody operates from the foundation of love. And in God's kingdom, love is a currency. And we get to hand it out and pay it out and do whatever we want with it. Why? Because it's pure. Now, when I say pure, it doesn't have evil intent. That's what I'm saying. And for a person to have a good heart or a pure heart, it just means you don't have evil intent. You're not harboring offense. You're not wanting to, take revenge. We've talked about that, Mel. And I mean, you made a great comment about that. When you and I were talking about how you just already worked through that. Those feelings of, people saying you're, a crackpot and this and that, and you want to get that reconciliation. We're going to have a reconciliation of love.
Yeah. We're never gonna get rid of the haters. I don't think. Haters is just part of the ecosystem. There's not much you could do about it. Haters, one thing that they hate us about is the fact that you and I and Kia, we are creators. We're creating content. We're creating value that we're giving back to the people. And people are resonating with us. And they're coming and they're showing, even though we're being held back by these platforms, our numbers are still jumping.
It's true.
Correct?
Well, there's been a comment, Mel, about what you just described, haters.
Mm-hmm.
There is the strong possibility that they will receive some kind of a treatment to set their brain right.
Yeah.
And if their brain can't be set right, unfortunately, they can't be part of society because they're not well.
Yeah.
So if it can't be dealt with from a med bed, how do you repair that?
Well, you got to put them on another planet where there's a bunch of a-holes.
Well,
simple, right?
Well, right now it's pretty hot there. It's really bright and orange, and it kind of moves. And
bring your marshmallows.
Yeah.
People had a very hard time with that part of the intel when we had our podcast, that some people won't be able to make it. I mean, they were so angry. They came to my other platforms, they came to my other videos to tell me that was a harsh thing to say, that that's cruel, and how dare I bring somebody on my podcast to say that. And I said, well, if your heart is in the right place, what does it matter? And if your heart isn't in the right place, get it right.
Amen. See? Now put yourself in my position, and the Lord's telling me this. And he's telling me, and he's weeping for all the people that aren't going to be there.
Wow.
And he has to understand not everybody's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're doing our best to give people a realistic picture of what it's going to look like. Do we have all the answers? No. But we have enough in that picture that it should scare the living daylight out of you. And if you're not right, get right.
I've saved a lot of people. I mean, we launched this thing innocently. We had no idea what we were doing. We had no, I mean, when we bought our first XRP, we sold our silver and we went to the banks here and they said, "Where did you get the money?" And I said, "What business is it of yours? No, we need to know where you got the money." You know, we're talking, you know, not a lot of, we had a wad of cash, but let me not answer that. Sorry about that. So the reality is that then we went to Banco Costa Rica, and they said you could deposit $2,000 a month for a few months, and then after, you know, we did that for a few months, we went and said, "Okay, we're ready." He said, "Ready to do what?" "We're ready to buy XRP. We need to wire this money over to Lithuania." They said, "Oh no, you don't. What are you talking about? It's my money." So we had to take the money, wire it back to Bank of America in the United States. And from there, we did the transaction, sending our money off to Lithuania, never knowing if we would see our XRP or our money. And we were buying quite a bit because it was less than pennies. I'm going back in the beginning, okay? Almost 7 years ago. Long time. And but man, we went through some challenges. You know, when I realized that this was it, when I started to watch The Digital Asset Investor and Brad Kimes, and I met this guy, Alex Cobb, who was like the youngest kid ever. He was like 14 years old. He had a paper out, you know, and he decided to take his money and put it into XRP. I'm like, this kid's going to be a billionaire. And he understood what this was at that age. This kid was brilliant. And I learned so much from these people, you know, grateful to all of them. XRP Army guys, my hat is off to you, really, in a big way. And but then when I realized that Nasara was on the field, and we decided that, hey, we got to do something, because there is no way, when I saw my wife go through what she had to go through to make a purchase of XRP or any of these digital assets, the average person that says is going to literally melt down and have a malfunction of sort. And that's when we jumped into action, and we started the Telegram group, and we started bringing all these people, and everybody knew something about something, and we started to put those somethings together, and they became something. You know what I mean? And that's how this whole thing evolved.
Well, and I want everybody to know, Mel,
yeah,
that I'm here because of them.
Yeah.
I work 18, 20, sometimes more than 24 hours in a day. And I'm not doing it for my benefit.
Exactly.
I'm standing in the gap for people out there, because the message in the beginning, and we're coming up on 2 years now, was soft, gentle, and it has progressed.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, he said, make it stronger. Why would he say that? Make it stronger. Because people weren't waking up.
Yeah.
I don't want
we could
one
be
person
selfish.
to be lost.
Yeah. Dave, we could be selfish. You say, hey, you know what? We got our XRP already. Figure it out on your own. Goodbye. See ya.
Yeah.
Right?
But I couldn't live with myself.
We're not doing that. We're just trying to get everybody to get some, because we know.
Right.
We see the writing on the wall.
Well, the gloves are off. We're not playing around. God's not playing around.
No.
He didn't do this just so people can continue to live their sin-natured lifestyle in his kingdom.
Right.
It isn't going to happen.
Kia, tell us a little bit about the reevaluation with the ZIMs and dinars, if you don't mind, Dave. I want her to get the floor a little bit, because this is really important too. As a matter of fact, I need you to send me a few links if you have an affiliate link so you can make a couple of pennies off of me, where I could buy some Zims and dinars, because I don't know a good place to buy some.
No, I don't have affiliate links, but I can definitely share with you some of the links that I know of that are valid.
Cool, cool.
So yes, the currencies that about which we've been speaking are the Vietnamese dong, the Iraqi dinar, the Indonesian rupiah, the Indian rupee. What else? Did I say Venezuelan bolivar, and some of the others. Um, the reason
Iran, I
why we're
understand. Iran,
yes, Iranian real, I think it
Real.
is.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Definitely the Zimbabwean Zim. We're interested in those currencies because we're experiencing a global currency reset where we're demolishing the old system and going back to a sound monetary system. And during that global currency reset where you restart the whole system all over the globe, then the currencies of each country will be revalued or returned to their correct value based on the assets that those countries have. So those currencies, those resources, excuse me, will support or back those currencies and make all those currencies are one to one with each other. So they will be equivalent to each other all over the world. And so this is why we've been looking at different currencies. But specifically, a lot of people are interested in the Iraqi dinar because what has happened historically is when the American government would go into a country and decimate that country, and of course fund both sides of the war, they would decimate the countries, and therefore the currencies, the value of the currencies would go down or decrease. So world leaders all over the world would buy those currencies at that time, and so would military leaders. But this was unbeknownst to the rest of us. They would buy those currencies while it was devalued and during war, and then after the war, the United States government would go in, uh, fix the economy, I should say, repair the roads and all that, which then would make their currencies go back up. And so during that time, they would take the currency that they bought that was devalued through war and go to the banks and get a nice return on their investment based on the new valuation of those currencies. So say like in Kuwait, for example, and I think it was like 1990, the United States military went over there. We had a war, they decimated the economy, then that brought the currency down. So world leaders bought the Kuwaiti dinar as well as military people while it was low. It had been like $3.51, something like that before the war. Well, then when after the war, it was decimated to like pennies on a dollar. And those world leaders bought the currency while it was low. Then the United States government, after the war, went in there, rebuilt up Kuwait, and the currency became strong again. And they took the currency, the Kuwaiti dinar, both in America, no matter where they were, and they exchanged it for the new rate and became millionaires and billionaires overnight. I do know one person who became a millionaire, and his brother became a multimillionaire during the Kuwaiti dinar revaluation. And you can find that actually online too. There's an article about it. Yeah. And what's interesting, Mel, is while over there in Kuwait, it was actually dark. We talked about a period of darkness. It was dark. They had some type of electric outing or shortage or something like that. But in the middle of the night, in the dark, people were exchanging the Kuwaiti dinar at the banks. And
Wow.
they became wealthy. Yeah.
So it's happening again, except this time the deplorables have their hands on it. Us.
And yes, I believe that the creator, the white hats, and those other beings that are here helping us, I believe they wanted us to experience this.
Yeah. And if you want to know how all of this was done, there's a very famous book written back about 14, 15, 16 years ago called Confessions of an Economic Hitman with John Perkins. You want to read that book. I was working for a multi-hundred millionaire. And William Cornwell was one of the most amazing people I've ever worked for. And he said, hey, why don't you come work with me? He didn't say come work for me. He said, why don't you come work? He was very eccentric. He used to go to the bank every morning, and he used to pick up $3,000 at the bank at the ATM every day, right? And you know what he used to do with the money?
What
He
was
used to
that?
give it away. He'd give it away every day. He said, Mel, he goes, it comes back to me 10 times because I can't give it away fast enough, right? So one day, I had no idea at this point that this guy was very wealthy. And this is before. Yes, sure, go right ahead.
Okay.
Go. So I'll tell the story while she's away. So I says I didn't know that this guy was very wealthy before I started seeing him physically with my own eyes, handing out every day I hang out with him. If he hears somebody I need money, boom, he'd take out $1,000, give it to them, just like that. No questions asked. You didn't ask what your name was. You got to pay me the money back. None of that stuff. So one day I read the book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I actually met John Perkins at a book signing on Lincoln Road in South Beach. And he said, where did you get this book? Because I lent it to him. He says, I got it over at the Bell Harbor shops in Bell Harbor. He said, let's go over there. So we get there, and he says to the lady, you have this book in stock? She says, yes. She says, how many books do you have in stock? And she went into the computer and she said, I got 21,000 copies and change. Oh. And I saw this guy rip out his checking account and write a check for $420-something thousand on the spot. Wow. Like that. He had a little straight job truck the next day come to his house, and there was books all the way stacked to the ceiling. And he would drive around in his green convertible Jaguar, which was rented by Hertz. The reason why I know that is because he had a little GPS apparatus and it said Hertz on it. So, you rent the car? He goes, yeah, I rent the car. $158 a day for the car, a Jaguar, brand new. So he would hand out the book, like handing out business cards out of the trunk of his car to everybody he meets. He goes, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. You got to read this book. And if you understand that book, you understand exactly how they go into all these countries and devalue their money and do what it is they do. It's completely gangster. And he's one of the best. I mean, you got to watch some of his interviews. He's been around. John Perkins has been, what an incredible, incredible story. Do you know who he is, Dave?
No, I do not.
You didn't know about John Perkins?
I've heard the title of the book.
Yes. Great book. Excellent book. Yeah.
After I read 2 books, I didn't need to read any more.
Cool. See, guys, if you guys were on the phone, all of this content would have got lost. Instead, we were able to capture it.
Well, and you wouldn't hear the secret I'm going to tell everybody that I discovered in the NASARA agreement. It says that they're responsible for buying back gold and silver certificates because they were put out by the U.S. Treasury Department, not the Federal Reserve. And their exchange is the value of silver. Think about that.
Well, silver and gold right now and oil to dollar ratio is still at 0 at the debt clock. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Why is that? Because they have an asterisk next to it. You can't call it a glitch. You have an asterisk next to it. Okay.
Well, we know with no income taxes and no state taxes, there isn't going to be any tax on gas. So you're going to, take $1 or $2 off of gas immediately. And we know as we move forward in this growth of a higher consciousness, it also is going to affect transportation, which means we won't need gasoline. Wow. The only vehicles that are purported to remain are diesel vehicles.
Okay.
Not gasoline vehicles.
Free energy?
So, yes, free energy. The XRPL operates on free energy right now.
And it doesn't need an internet.
And it doesn't need an internet.
And somebody, by the way, was making fun of you and I, Dr. Kia Pruitt. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to give this person.
I saw that. I didn't
any
want to
Esquire. I don't want to give this guy any notoriety. He's been completely disowned by Charlie Ward and a bunch of people. and he's out there trying to make it. The market keeps rejecting him. And now he sees that you and I are getting really popular, and he wants to ride on our coattails. For 2 seconds, he flashes that the XRPL has been hacked into and billions of dollars gone missing. Now, we all know that is a BS story on steroids. Never has that happened.
Nothing ever leaves the XRPL.
Exactly.
All the coins are on the XRPL, no matter what they are.
Right.
They never leave. They just find a different place in the computer system.
Yeah. My first reaction was to invite him to a show, Dave, and I was going to have you on that show with me, and we're just going to take turns tag teaming him and destroying him. But then I said, why in the world would I give this guy that kind of notoriety? That's what he wants. I'm not going to give him what he wants.
Right. We're just going to cover it with love. We're going to wish him well, and we're going to move. We're going to move on because we're in a river. We're flowing in a river.
Yes.
We can't stop.
Yeah.
We have a mission. We have to see it to the end. All the way through.
Well, that's why I keep telling my wife, we're either going to be heroes or we're going to be zeros. But I
well, right, because of all the zeros after your name.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's going to have their quantum access card with a picture. Just don't tell people how much money you have, please. Don't do that.
Right.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry will be there with their hand out.
Right. And you know, this was something I was going to actually cover on our Sunday show or Friday show. And that is just because people ask you a question, you're not required to answer it.
You're not.
And people will ask the most immature question, like, well, how much XRP do you have? How much money do you make in your job? It's like, why would you want to know that? And don't be afraid to say, that's none of your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They're not paying your bills.
Yeah.
But do it in a loving way.
I think the Zims is underrated. I think Zimbabwe is a country of interest to me personally. I think they have more minerals in the ground per square inch than any other country in the world. They have more gold, more silver, more diamonds, more emeralds, more rubies than any other country in the world. And I think that Zimbabwe is going to end up being one of the richest countries in the world when this whole storm blows over.
They used to be very wealthy, and my understanding is they were called Zimbabwe the Great because of the wealth that they had. And then it became, of course, decimated through wars and sanctions. So I agree with you. I think their currency or their bond will outperform a lot of the other currencies. And as a matter of fact, Mel and Dave, if you look at the top left-hand corner, it says this is a promise to pay the bearer upon demand. It is a bond. They say it's written on bond paper. And it just, I don't know, when you consider all that, as well as all the resources the country has, I'm with you, Mel. That's my top pick.
Well,
in terms of
here's a very interesting fact that just came out.
Okay.
One of the largest counterfeiters in the world gave out his secret because they couldn't figure out where he was getting the paper to print on. It was in Bibles. Bible paper. He would go to bookstores and he knew exactly where the paper was in the Bible. And there was some in the front and some in the back. And he said for every 100 Bibles that he removed this paper, it was $500,000 once he printed on it. So what does that tell you?
Let's do some closing statements. Let's go around the room. We'll start with you, Dr. Kia.
Thank you for
tell the people. Oh, no, you're awesome. The people love you, by the way. All of our people love you.
Thank you, Mel. My battery was going down low and I was trying to hold on.
Okay.
So
you plugged in?
It keeps falling out. I'm in a weird, I just moved, so I'm in a weird place trying to figure all this out.
Yeah. Give us your closing statement, then I'll go to Dave and we'll close it out. And I'm going to hold you guys over for a little bit after the call.
Okay. My closing statement is, hmm, my closing statement really is it's something I heard Dave say, it's something I heard a lot of people say, and that is trust your gut, trust your intuition, and know that God lives in you and your higher self or your intuition will lead you to the right place. So trust what your gut is saying and so vet all the sources that you hear with your highest self or with God, that voice in you, and see if we're telling the truth or not. And if you find out that we are indeed telling the truth or things that resonate with you, then that's what you go with. And that's it.
I like that a lot.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think it's important. And again, the reason why I'm here is to help you have information so you could never say, I didn't know. And this is why it's important. You have to be the courage and the strength for your family, for your friends. Because as bad as people want to make it, it's not bad. It's not religious. God intended this before all creation, and we're the ones that get to live it out. And it's such a small price to pay when we consider what he has done, sacrifices that have taken place. And all we have to do is run to him at the end of the day. Amen. And let him know you're glad to come home. You're looking forward to everything that he has already planned and that you are going to do together. And just imagine everybody is filled with love and they're dispensing love because love is the currency of heaven. It's the foundation for the new system. So nobody's going to be upset. Nobody's going to be mad. You're probably going to have so many people trying to give you money and take care of you that you're going to have to say, stop. I already got 3 homes. I already got a car. But I wanted to do this. Well, you know what? Let's find somebody else that needs it. Because I don't need any more right now. I'm okay. But we together can find somebody that needs that. Because like Mel said, there's something in every person's heart to do good, a project. And with this new system, and I talked about that when you go through the Redemption Center, the last process is to turn over or hand them a 3-page paragraph for a humanitarian project. It can be as simple as taking the people across the street to the doctor. There's no qualifier other than your heart wanting to do something good for humanity. And what has been said was, expect $1 million. Now that right there should help you put down anything that isn't going to get you there. And I know it's going to be hard, but when we cross into that system, everything else is just going to fade away because we're going to be so happy, so happy. I mean, Mel, how long have you waited for this?
Man, it seems like forever, but I'm having so much fun. A crazy part of me doesn't want the movie to end. I'm serious. It's like, if that number, $517,434 per XRP, manifests, we're going to have dozens and dozens and dozens of humanitarian projects. And a lot of you guys will be making that 6,000 or 16,000 or 10,000 a month, whatever that UBI is going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't manifest to know, I don't think I know everything. But the reality is you're going to come work for people like us, and you're going to go do something you're going to love. Like my friend Rebel, she wants to save the horses. I want to help her save the horses. You know what I mean? And so to me, the gratification that comes out of something like that is absolutely priceless. It's not about the money. The money, after a while, folks, yes, you're going to have your wealth. You're going to have your health. You're going to have everything you want in life. And after a while, it's going to become boring. I don't want a car anymore, even though I wouldn't mind maybe for 5 or 6 years while they figure out when they're going to launch the flying cars that can go from Miami to, Jacksonville, Florida in about 2.2 minutes. That's because you want to take the scenic route. Okay.
Right.
All right. I wouldn't mind having a Shelby Cobra sitting in my garage. You know, one of the ones that I want, Dave, is fully. It's made out of metals. That made out of actually aluminum. The price tag starts at $119,000. They progressively hit the $200,000 mark. It's gorgeous. It's an exact replica of the original Shelby 1965 Cobra. It is amazing. There's another company called Factory 5. They make it out of fiberglass or I think carbon fiber, but I like the metal one better.
Place your order now.
Yes, place your order now because there's gonna be like once the wealth hits, I think there's gonna be like 900,000 people running to the guys who build mega yachts wanting a mega yacht. The mega yacht's not going to cost 100 million anymore. It's going to cost 300 million because of supply and demand.
Right. And God gave me another humanitarian project,
which is
like the first one wasn't big enough, I guess. We have an issue with freshwater fishing lakes in the United States. They're being decimated by being overfished. So I asked God, what are we going to do? He says, well, we're just going to build more lakes, build more dams, build all these recreational places for grandfathers to take their grandsons, fathers to take their sons. I mean, for me, there's nothing more enjoyable than catching fish. I mean, you're right there too, Mel. So
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
We're doing something with freshwater ourselves. It's funny you bring that up at the end of the conversation. I'm talking to my friend, the hydrogen man. He's like a PhD on steroids when it comes to pure drinking water and hydrogen water. As a matter of fact, we sell the hydrogen water apparatus on our website now. There's a link there. You guys can get one because we have a job here. Our job is very, very simple. You can have all the money in the world, but if you ain't healthy, you ain't wealthy. You can't go through the finish line and have 1.5 foot in the grave. Say, oh, I got 800,000 XRP. I'm wealthy. Yeah, but you're dying, dude. That's no damn good. So my job is, how do we bring you opportunities? We got great business opportunities down below. You guys can join. Okay, you got 2 arms, 2 legs. You got a mouth. Open it. You give somebody a product. Okay, whether it's our iTerahertz frequency device that allows the body to heal the body. I was talking to a lady yesterday. I'll tell you guys off camera what she had, because if I do it here, YouTube will shut me down. Okay. And she said, Mel, I feel unbelievable. I said, please, I was begging this lady. Now she's going to go to my broker to buy some XRP. And I was begging this lady, and I'm going to get her on one way or another. I got to come hail over hot water. I got to figure out how to get her on. She's got an incredible story to tell, even if it's going to be only on Rumble. It's a story that must be told, because when you understand what she has, and she says, I'm 80% better, I was blown out of my chair. And I got a big chair. You can't blow me out of my chair that easy. You know what I mean? And so we give you the opportunities while we wait. Yes, it could take 3 months. It could take 6 months. It could take 10 days. Nobody knows. But in the meantime, get busy. Get some of these products. Or Purium, the company that, makes products that are 7 times above and beyond California standards of what is organic superfoods. They go above 7 steps that are not required, right? You start ingesting the product, which got a 60-day money-back guarantee, with the promo code Mel Carmine, they give you $50 just for trying it out. And if you don't like the product in 60 days, you take the packages, send them back, and they give you a full refund. They don't even ask you a question, not one. But guess what? If you feel good and you're taking the product and you give it to a few people and they start feeling good, they get what I call lubricated lips. They're going to tell somebody about it. Right? And when they get lubricated lips, cash flow starts coming your way. It's a simple process. Don't sit there and moan and bitch and complain. I ain't got no money. No, you got money. The money's sitting right down below. Click the link, get to work. No excuses in the big leagues. They say if you want to hang out with the big boys and girls, you got to learn how to pee in the tall grass. And that's true. know. Guys, this was great. I'm going to hold you over. Guys, we need you guys to take these videos and destroy the algorithms over at Google and YouTube and sprinkle us out there. That's how we that's how we beat them. You guys are the digital soldiers. Now do your job. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.